Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Barber from Synchrony Financial. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our journey, our cloud journey, and actually there's a larger transformation journey that's occurring at Synchrony. Before I get into that, I sat through the session before me, which was Comcast, and Neville talked a lot about their activities. And what I appreciated was, we've been at this a year. We're very excited about our accomplishments over the year. They've had a couple more years, and it's really great to see how things progressed, and I'm looking forward to being able to tell a similar story in 3 or 4 years' time that he told, which was really great. So I don't think Neville, if you're out there, thank you. That was really good. Synchrony Financial, obviously financial services company. To the degree, this is not a page I would show if I was talking to other financial service company, but I'm acutely aware that there's a lot of people from a lot of different groups. And the reason I wouldn't is because it's obvious to them, to financial services companies. We are in the midst of a very disruptive environment from a financial services point of view. A lot of large and small technology players all competing to figure out how to improve financial services for consumers, in particular payments. And whether it's small players, medium-sized, artificial intelligence, Bitcoin, payment architect, there's a ton of activity, and that's driving a lot of activity on the part of the banks to compete, right? So on the one hand, a lot of new partners to work with, which is wonderful, a lot of great ideas, a lot of exciting change, but also a lot of competition now. And we have to react to that. So it's really a very exciting time, and Synchrony Financial is essentially in the payments business, right? We are one of the largest providers. We are the largest providers of private label credit cards. We have over 70 million accounts. It's a pretty big place where we do credit card processing, and we do it for very large retailers, online and off. We do it for very small merchants and dealers. We do it for healthcare providers. And we provide a whole suite of services. And it's all wrapped up in how we help those businesses help their customers by providing credit. And we've been doing it a long time. We've been doing it for 85 years, although the last couple of years have been a particularly exciting set of years. And we'll get into a little bit about that history, as well as all the new things that are happening as part of this material, and hopefully you'll find it interesting. So we are located largely in the US, right? About 15,000 employees. We have 5 technology areas, technology hubs: Stamford, Kettering, Ohio, Atlanta, Chicago, and Hyderabad. And those are essentially the 5 sites where the vast majority of our technology work is done. But the fact is we have a large profile across the US, working with our clients and our customers, staying close to our partners, that kind of thing. We talked a little bit about this, but we essentially offer card and loan services to a variety of partners, large retailers, small merchants, small healthcare providers. We also have an online bank, deposits, and that's a dramatically growing business. So interestingly enough, our business, we think of ourselves, we are a bank, but we think of ourselves as working very closely with our cardholders and customers, as well as the retail or healthcare providers that choose to allow us to work with their customers. And so that relationship with those, we think about really 2 sets of customers: the cardholder, as well as the merchants and providers and large scale retailers. So the challenge for us is there have been a lot of changes that have occurred. The biggest one of which for us was that we were historically part of the General Electric company, a pretty relatively small group in a very, very, very large company. And so how we thought about, so for 85 years, we've been extending credit as part of the General Electric company. Now, in 2014, we were spun off via an IPO. We became a publicly traded company. And that activity drove quite a bit of change, as you might expect, right? We were no longer able to leverage all the scale and capabilities that GE could provide. We had to go out and build our own. We had to go out and build our new data centers. We had to go out and build all that capability that we used to rely on the General Electric for. And that was a very exciting time, although interestingly enough, when we did that, we were able to build out new networks, new security, a lot of new capabilities, but our applications moved largely unchanged. Now you say, well, gee, wasn't that a great opportunity to change everything? We had a very short amount of time, so we moved them basically, we called it like for like at the time. We basically took, and it became a mantra. Don't mess with things, move it so we can execute the IPO on time and meet the needs of our regulators and our partners and our board. So we got out of Dodge. As soon as we got fully separated, that's when we started to say, how do we take advantage of the separation to basically reinvent our technology capabilities across the board? And it really was, so we did the IPO in 2014, we separated, and really it took us a year to exit, right? We exit, and then we're ready to start our cloud journey. And that's exactly what we did. We started evaluating and understanding how we were going to do this, and at the end of 2016, early 2017, we started our cloud journey in earnest. And truthfully, it's been a great ride, and we'll get into that. But at the end of the day, we, in the payment space, in financial services, we need to rapidly increase our ability to change, our ability to build new products and capabilities, and really our ability to compete in a marketplace that change is much more prevalent. 10, 15 years ago, payments was a pretty sleepy place. The dominant form, credit cards, brick and mortar retailers, it was a sleepy place. Now that has all changed, and it has changed very, very quickly. So we're excited to be part of that change, and we're excited to be competing in that marketplace. But the truth is, we needed to change some stuff to be able to do that. So our overall strategy for our transformation was first to leverage our cloud-native app strategy to improve our speed to market, be able to bring new products and capabilities, new APIs, new client and customer ways of doing business with us via a set of cloud-ready applications, to continue to enable and drive growth in our business, to work with our retail partners, to work with our cardholders, to be able to continue to expand our business. And also, we wanted to increase our ability to leverage a much broader ecosystem of partners and new capabilities, whether it's machine learning or social network information or what have you. We have a much broader set of partners, so being able to tap into that required a much leaner, faster, more adaptive way to do technology work. And so that increase in opportunities was a big part of our strategy. And then, of course, we need to be able to increase our ability to drive more work through our development teams, right? So how do we move much quicker in the marketplace? How do we use more on-demand capabilities? How do we use the cloud strategy? How do we improve our ability to do agile development to drive success? Now, I'm not going to read every bullet in here, and actually, you absolutely should look at the pages later if you want to read some of the details. The point is, this was the basis of Synchrony Financial's overall technology strategy. Now, you know what's funny? You have a page, and you say to yourself, it's a good page, and then you say to yourself right before you get up, you say, this is a terrible page. And the reason it's a terrible page is it's kind of complicated, although it's a good page for us internally. The fundamental thing for Synchrony is we wanted to leverage, we wanted to build out a private cloud, and we wanted to expand into the public cloud at the same time. Now, as a regulated entity, we were being a little careful about cloud, so we wanted to start internally. But we knew the future is and will be a public cloud deployment. And so we create constructed an architecture that will allow us to do that. Now, what's a little, in our case, remember, I talked about we work with retailers and we work with people who are selling things to consumers. So we have enormous variation in volume. So as you might expect, Black Friday, big day for us. The run up to Christmas, frankly, 6 weeks, big 6 week for us, right? We essentially design our environment to handle a huge variation in consumer traffic load, right? And so our thought was we should use our cloud environment, create our internal cloud, but burst into the public cloud as we need capacity to handle the huge variation in consumer load that we see based on the wants and needs of our cardholders. So that's the overall strategy. It's a good page. It's a humble page. But the point is we've built out an architecture that we think will allow us to go into the future. So our cloud journey, our PCF journey, if you will, really over the past, really since the beginning of, very end of 2016, beginning of 2017 in earnest, has been very successful for us. We did our initial app dojo, I think what was that, in October of 2016. Did our first pilot launch of a couple apps. Our platform dojo was Q1. Our transition to operations readiness activities occurred. How we do app onboarding, replatforming, et cetera. Our procedures and our operational capabilities and all the controls we wanted to make sure were in place. A lot of work by a lot of agile teams to do this. We set a target of getting 7 applications deployed, and we actually hit 14. Now we expect to deploy many, many more apps in the coming year, in the coming 2018, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. I think this has rapidly become we started out thinking we were going to have to sell this in, and at some point we stopped having to sell. Now we have to try to manage the volume of the rest of the organization wanting to expand into the environment and us wanting to help them, but trying to sort of manage it all, which is a wonderful position to be in, and we're very happy about that. Now we got some stuff we still have to do. Our API gateway isn't what we want it to be. We've got to build that out. We sort of, in hindsight, I would say we built out the foundation, and there's some stuff, some of the cool stuff, customer-facing stuff. I wish we'd started more in parallel. The API gateway is one of them. Batch activity, global cache, how we do streaming, all that stuff is capability we're building out, and we'll get that wrapped up so we can support the full suite of capabilities that we need in our cloud environment. So very exciting. We're thrilled with our progress, and we're really looking forward to an exciting 2018. Now I'm like crazy paranoid about which button I press. So frankly, this is, in my mind, the most important page, although it's the ugliest. And it's about what are the challenges? Because frankly, I hope the part that's of interest to you. Like, okay, so it's great. Everybody's got a great cloud story these days. This is an awesome session. What are the challenges that you guys had, and what did you learn from it, and what did you do about it? So first, business alignment. Now, it proved very easy to get everybody behind building new stuff in our cloud environment. And strangely enough, it wasn't all that hard. We still have some mainframe applications to start to, as we were moving the mainframe apps, to get them to move those into the cloud environment. Sometimes they were big and complex, but the fact is nobody disagreed with the premise, which was good news. The challenge is on those big, beefy Java apps you have that are large, complex, do a lot of great stuff. Figuring out how to break those up into microservices and take the time and money to do that is where things get a little tricky. At least they got tricky for us. And so our challenge really has been to work with our business community and our colleagues to first of all, sell in the value of microservices and the value of, they were already bought into Agile, but selling the value, not just of Agile, but of designing a microservices strategy that would better support the Agile teams we have. And that was a big, and we had enough kind of situations where you have some big app, you got 3 Agile teams working on it because it's so big, you can't just have one, and it gets a little clumsy, and it was becoming apparent to others that it was clumsy. So that was easy. It wasn't easy, but that was the vehicle we used to sell in the premise of, okay, we really do need to migrate this. These are perfectly good apps, but the fact is they could be better. And if we want to be able to react quickly, we're going to have to start breaking them up. So that worked. Resources. So we got a lot of really talented people, but obviously we're new to the cloud, so they weren't necessarily experienced in the cloud environment. Now we looked in we've been spending a lot of time recruiting, pulling people in. We have approached that 3 ways. A, bring in people who understand cloud and financial services in particular. Hiring people. We're going to hire more people. Just note, we're hiring. Everybody's saying that. I feel like I got to say that too, but it's true. We worked with a strong partner, Pivotal, to help us build out this capability. And then we took critical people in our organization and redeployed them into this environment. And that was really important because we needed people who understood our business, who understood technology in general, and were able to bring this cloud strategy to life in a way that we could articulate to the rest of the organization, because these were trusted, knowledgeable people, some of whom are sitting here today. Information security, whole new set of tools and capabilities. Now, it's funny because we built out I talked about the fact that we IPO'd and we built out a whole new set of security capabilities then. But the truth is, as we built our cloud environment, we had to build out more new capabilities, right? And it was new rules and strategies on how to secure the environment. And to do that, we obviously we leveraged expertise. We leveraged partners. We leveraged industry capabilities to do that. And that's going to be an important part of our strategy, period, information security. And then operational activities. I'll make a couple observations here. So in the past, we've had fairly bureaucratic processes around our release management, ITIL frameworks, ticketing systems. We got all that. And actually, I appreciated Neville talking about his strategy around tickets, which is not to have them. And so our strategy has been to try to unwind that over time, move quickly, fail on some stuff, and then correct. How do we unwind all that? And I will say, and I wish I wrote it on this page, the key enabler for all that is to the fact that this cloud strategy is a result of a collaboration between the infrastructure group and the application group. I'm the app guy, but it could as well just be our CTO could have been doing this presentation too, because we are in tandem working on this overall strategy, and that collaboration is critical to the overall success of this initiative for Synchrony Financial. If one of us had tried to push this rock up the hill without the other, we wouldn't have had the success that we have. So I don't know how, I've had some conversations with people over the last day or so, and my observation, at least with a couple of the people I talked to, was that combined like-minded effort wasn't always there, and that was apparently, which creates challenges and has created challenges for some of the other businesses who are pursuing this roadmap. Anyway, so why we were doing it, that's easy. How has been a little bit more of a challenge, but it's been certainly a very exciting ride for us over the past 2017. Now I'm getting cocky with the thing, right? There's nothing good can come of that. So in summary, what we've seen, a lot faster application development, no surprise. 30%, we think 30% development, hard to measure, right? But those are the initial data. The ability to continuously deploy the ability to move much quicker deliver new capabilities to our clients and partners has been wonderful. Cost containment costs a lot less. Pivotal still costs too much, but costs a lot. But the overall environment costs less. Let's just having some fun, Paul. Just some fun. The governance now, the environment is easier to control. It's one of the reasons it's faster. In the case as a bank, it's not enough that it be easy to control. We have to demonstrate to others that it is easy to control. And so the ability to more tightly control the environment, which sounds counterintuitive, like you're unleashing this great capability to our application developers to move quickly. But the fact is it's an environment that provides more control, the ability to patch, the ability to manage business continuity, the ability to just manage the environment is hugely valuable for us because we spend an inordinate amount of time doing that in our existing environment. So huge. Larger innovation ecosystem, obviously, our ability to leverage new tools, new open source capabilities, new cloud partners is all emboldened by our strategy and our ability to leverage new capabilities. This is where innovation is occurring. It's funny, when we talked to our CEO about migrating off the mainframe a couple years ago, because we're in the middle of a whole other deck on that topic, by the way. And one of the observations we made, besides all the reasons you want to get off the mainframe, and there's plenty of them, is innovation doesn't occur there. Doesn't occur, the bulk of innovation is all cloud ready. So if we want to be a part of that, we need to be part of it. So very exciting. Anyway, so overall, it's been a good ride for us at Synchrony. We are committed to this. We see it as a huge enabler for us. Besides the cloud strategy, our overall migration to Agile, our overall migration to APIs, driving how we engage with our partners has been an enormous new capability that we've been excited to bring to our customers and clients. All right, I think that's it. So what questions do you guys have? You, sir.
Why would you use a private cloud, public cloud hybrid strategy like 2007?
Yeah. So why?
Worst of both worlds.
Yeah. I wouldn't say worst of best worlds. I'd say best of both worlds. But hold that thought. Yeah. I picked that up by the fact of your question. Here's the thing. We are in a very regulated space.
I work for a bank.
Good. And so our challenge was, if we thought we could move, if we built out our private cloud, we thought we could move faster because a lot of the controls and capabilities in our environment already existed in our data center and had been proven to exist in our data center. And so we thought that, and you could argue the point, we thought if we could leverage our internal data center to build out our core capabilities to learn how to do this in an environment that we could move quickly, afford to have some failures, and still be able to maintain the right degree of service to our customers and cardholders, and then grow into the cloud later, that would make more sense. Now, fundamentally, from a dollars point of view, we suspect that starting with a private cloud that is near 100% utilized and bursting to a variable cost model will be comparable, if not just as cheap, as a full cloud strategy. But the truth is, we also imagine that that internal cloud we built, its days may very well be numbered. We may decide as we push into the public cloud next year, you know what, good idea, helped us get started on our journey, but it's outlived its usefulness. Let's move on. So frankly, whether we do that or not is a choice we get to make. We get to, and there's nothing slowing us down. So that's how we kind of got our head around it. I think part of it was we wanted to move very fast early, and we felt like we would pull it off better if we did it in-house initially. Does that make sense?
The interesting thing was about the control objectives that you mentioned. So another part of your presentation, you were talking about like coming down to the core of those control objectives and redefining those processes to be able to be agile on the cloud.
Right.
So I think, in a sense,
So, by the way, I didn't say it that well. Right. So, a lot of discussions around, we've had a lot of discussions around why not just go to the public cloud first, build a new set of control objectives, and the challenge there is, and so what it came down to is, in our case, we could establish those control objectives more and start to migrate those control objectives more safely in our private cloud, knowing that we can evolve to the public cloud and build out and sort of extend those control objectives. Like if we were starting a bank from scratch today, clearly we would start in the public cloud and we would have no control frameworks at all, so we'd have to build them from scratch. And so, but the truth is we have a lot of stuff today. So how do we take advantage of what we have and then grow into the public cloud? And it's not really exactly a financial play entirely. It's also a safety and soundness play, not to overuse that term. Right there.
I may have misunderstood, but you said earlier in your presentation that you're the apps person and then you have an infrastructure ops person too. And you guys are both pointing in the same direction.
Yes.
What if you don't have that? You have somebody that believes in this and wants to try it, and did either of you have to evangelize to the other one to get them on board, or were you both already there?
That's a really great question. So first of all, if you don't have that, you're screwed. No, just kidding. Actually, what I meant was, but more fundamentally, our CTO, Greg Simpson, him and I, approach things typically very differently. But we frequently end up in the same place, which is why we work together well. So he approached it from sort of a vision around the data center and how we could move faster and why we should move away from, corporate capabilities when the industry has clearly demonstrated that that's no longer needed. The cloud can provide that. I approached it from, I got all these applications and I'm getting killed with the amount of change and new capabilities that people want, and I want to be able to find a way to do it that will allow me to take advantage of my agile teams better and deliver more to our customers. And those are two very different objectives, but they converged in this cloud initiative. Now, I don't know what would have happened if one of us was pushing the rock uphill. We had the good fortune that that didn't happen, that our CIO was on board, that our CEO was on board. Now, so, admittedly, as I'm saying it, that was a luxury that not everybody may have. On the other hand, I kind of feel like while our journey was a very big deal for us, and we had a lot of talented people, and it's a very, very exciting journey for us. Truthfully, it's not a particularly unique journey in the sense that we're sort of all buying into the notion that there are new ways to do this, that the old ways are just sort of obsolete. So we got to move on. So I would hope that whether it's an economic explanation or a speed to market explanation or a control explanation, there is an explanation to satisfy the most ornery of stakeholders here. So, I don't know if that helps, but.
We're going to try the on-solo thing.
Yeah.
Want to build a data center in China, or you just want to hang over there?
Right. Okay. Over there.
In one of your earlier diagrams, architecture diagrams, you showed your sort of legacy
Right.
software,
Right.
and then you're talking about your systems of engagement and the log.
Right.
Does that be a challenge in terms of interoperating between those common software packages?
Right, yes, yes it has. We have a converged approach. Our cloud strategy, there's actually two pieces, and I didn't get into it, and I wish I had, given your question. We have sort of the cloud native piece, half, and the converged half, which is developing a technology stack so that we can host all those commercial off-the-shelf software and odds, software that we've managed to acquire over the years. And we're challenging ourselves to figure out how to migrate them from the sort of, I hate to say it this way, but the bad side to the good side, right? And it's not always easy because some of these tools and capabilities are quite successful. They're good products on a platform we wish they weren't on. Now, the other thing that, in all fairness though, many of those providers have their own cloud strategies. So, some of these products, they're being migrated, for example, our secure email and chat, internet chat solution has an off-premise solution that we're migrating to. Now, so the question isn't, do I need to get them to rewrite their app so it runs in our cloud environment? Maybe the answer is I don't run it at all. And a lot of our partners are doing that. Now, what are we going to do when we get everybody who's willing to move, moves, everyone who's willing to go cloud native goes cloud native? What do we do with the rest? That's going to be the tough part. We try not to be ideologues or zealots around the choices we make, meaning I'm not sure we cast them out necessarily, but we're going to have to figure out a way to have those kind of applications. I don't think they're ever entirely going to go away, unfortunately. At least not, I say ever. Ever's a long time. They're not going to go over the next 5 to 10 years. Questions? Over there. We do. We track the amount of, we track the amount of investment we make to build new capabilities by those application development teams versus the amount of time we spend running the environment and supporting the environment. Now, it's not a perfect process for a bunch of reasons I won't get into. Like, not all resources are always tagged, but we do. The problem, the challenge is how you demonstrate application developer productivity is tricky because of the huge variation in it's really the work that you do. Meaning, so we said 30%, and that's a solid number. I feel very good about it. It's probably more, but we want to be conservative about how we think about the benefits. The challenge is you take a traditional application, SDLC, waterfall methodology, convert them to Agile, convert them to cloud native, they're driving it. You can't even compare the work they're doing anymore because the way the stories are written in Agile, the way you're responding to the business, it's really tough to compare to the way things you used to do. Now, you could do high-level metrics around revenue or ability to respond to issues or how many APIs you build. But actually, it's a bit of a false economy, if you will, where you're kind of doing your best to sort of estimate. Right. Right. That's been my observation. It just, you can come up with stats, but coming up with ability to compare over long periods of time gets a little tricky. People do it all the time. I just never feel good about once I get into how they did it, I always feel kind of, gee, that was kind of funny. I'm not sure I would have done it that way. So I don't know if I'm answering your question. Okay. All right. Any other questions, folks? Okay. Well, thank you very much.